The space around Kepler 442b was dark and cold. A large ship moved through the darkness, heading toward the blue and green planet below. Inside the ship, a creature opened its eyes. This creature was not like humans. Its body was hard and covered with a shiny, dark material that looked almost like metal. Its skin had a color that changed between blue and purple when the light hit it. The creature had 6 eyes, not 2 like humans. These eyes could see things that human eyes could never see. They could see heat, they could see movement from very far away, and they could even see the energy that living things made when they breathed. This creature was called a Vorgath. Vorgaths were the hunters of space. For thousands of years, they had traveled from star to star, looking for planets with life on them. When they found life, they hunted it. They were very good at hunting. They had never failed. The Vorgath that was coming to Kepler 442b was named Krell. Krell was one of the best hunters among all Vorgaths. He had hunted on 7 different planets. He had caught the most dangerous animals and the most clever creatures. Now he was coming to a new world, and he was excited. The ship began to enter the atmosphere of Kepler 442b. The air around it became hotter and hotter. Fire appeared around the ship, but the ship was strong, and the fire could not hurt it. Soon the ship was lower in the sky. Krell could see the planet clearly now. There were mountains and oceans and forests. But there was also something else. There were buildings. These were not natural things. These buildings were made by intelligent creatures. This meant that there were intelligent beings on this planet. This made Krell very happy. Intelligent prey was the most exciting kind of prey. Below the ship, on the ground, a space station stood in the middle of a large area. This was New Sol Station. It was named after Sol, a famous city on Earth. Many humans lived here. They had come from Earth to build a new home on this world. The station had many buildings and many machines. There were gardens where they grew food. There were homes where people lived. There were laboratories where scientists worked. There were markets where people bought and sold things. The sun was starting to go down, and the sky was becoming orange and red. Young Su was working in one of the agricultural buildings. He was a tall man with dark hair and dark eyes. His face was calm and serious. He worked with machines that helped plants grow. The machines needed to be cleaned and fixed every day. Young Su did this work carefully and well. He did not think about danger. He did not think about the universe beyond the station. He simply did his work. But inside his mind, there was something that most other people did not have. There was a special training. There was a special knowledge. There was a special skill. These things were hidden deep inside him, like a secret that he had told no one. The sky above the station became darker. Clouds moved in, but these were not normal clouds. Krell's ship was hidden inside the clouds. Krell was looking down at the station. He used his 6 eyes to scan the area below. His eyes moved over the buildings, over the streets, over the people. He was looking for something. He was looking for the best prey. He was looking for someone who was alone. He was looking for someone who was weak. He was looking for someone who would be easy to hunt. Krell's mind worked very fast, faster than human minds could work. In just a few seconds, he had scanned the entire station. He had seen 2,341 humans. He had looked at each one. He had judged each one. He had decided which ones would be good to hunt and which ones would not be worth hunting. His brain made these decisions without any feeling. There was no joy or sadness in his mind. There was only the pure logic of hunting. There was only the mathematics of survival. Krell saw a man working in one of the buildings on the edge of the station. This man was alone. Krell scanned him more carefully. The man had no weapons. The man had no armor. The man had no protection. The man was small and weak compared to Krell. This man would be very easy to hunt. Krell made a note of this man. He would come back for him soon, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, but he would come. Krell also saw other good prey. There was a woman working in a market. She was selling food to other people. When the market closed, she would walk home alone. Krell could hunt her. There was a child playing near a garden. The child had no parents nearby. Krell could hunt the child too. There were many choices. There was much prey. Krell began to feel something that was almost like happiness. He had come to a new world. He had found it full of life. He had found it full of prey. This would be a good hunt. This would be a very good hunt. He would stay here for many days. He would hunt many times. He would become even more famous among all the Vorgaths. Other Vorgaths would hear about what he had done here. They would respect him even more. The ship moved lower in the clouds. Krell prepared himself for the hunt. His body became ready. His mind became sharp. His eyes began to glow with a bright light that could not be seen by human eyes. He was ready to hunt. He was ready to kill. He was ready to take what he wanted from this world. But Krell did not know something. Krell did not know that one of the humans below was not like the other humans. One of the humans below was different. One of the humans below was trained. One of the humans below was waiting. One of the humans below was Young Su, and Young Su was not going to let Krell hunt this world. Young Su was going to stop him. But Krell did not know this yet. Krell did not know that the prey had become the hunter. Krell did not know that his hunt was about to become a very different kind of game. Krell only knew that he was hungry. Krell only knew that he wanted to hunt. And Krell only knew that he was going to come down to the station soon. 3 weeks had passed since Krell arrived at Kepler 442b. 3 weeks had passed since the ship appeared in the clouds above New Sol Station. During these 3 weeks, something very bad had happened. 7 people had disappeared. 7 people had simply vanished from the station. No one had seen them leave. No one had seen them go anywhere. They were just gone. The first person to disappear was a man named Teo. Teo was a scout. His job was to explore the land around the station. He went out into the forests and the mountains to look for useful things. He looked for water and plants and places where people could build new buildings. One day, Teo did not come back. His friends looked for him. The station sent machines to search for him, but they found nothing. Teo was gone. A few days later, a woman named Mi-sun disappeared. Mi-sun worked in the supply buildings. Her job was to keep track of food and tools and other things that the station needed. She was a careful worker. She was a good person. One morning, she went to the storage buildings early. She wanted to count the supplies before the other workers came. She never came back. The other workers found her workstation empty. They found her computer still on, but they did not find Mi-sun. Then a young man named Ho-jun disappeared. Ho-jun was a scientist. He studied the plants and animals of this world. He was very smart. He had many ideas about how to use the things on this planet to help the humans survive. One night, Ho-jun went to the laboratory to study some plants he had found. He told his friend that he would be back in 2 hours, but he never came back. His friend waited for him. Then his friend went to look for him, but the laboratory was empty. Only his research was there. Ho-jun was not there. After Ho-jun, more people disappeared. First, a woman named Su-jin, then a man named Do-yeon, then a young woman named Ji-ae, then a boy named Min-jun. 7 people in 3 weeks. Families were crying. Friends were scared. Everyone in the station was asking questions. What was happening? Where did these people go? Were they alive? Would more people disappear? The leader of the station was a woman named Ji-woo. Ji-woo was the commander. Her job was to make sure everyone was safe. She was very worried. She sat in her office and looked at reports about the missing people. All the reports showed the same thing. All the missing people had disappeared when they were alone. All of them had disappeared at different times and different places. All of them had disappeared without making any noise. All of them had disappeared without calling for help. Jiwoo called a meeting with the chief of security. The chief of security was a woman named Hae-in. Hae-in was tough and smart. She had worked as a soldier before coming to the space station. She knew how to solve problems. She knew how to protect people. When she looked at the reports, her face became very serious. She understood something. She understood that something was wrong. She understood that something dangerous was happening. "Look at this," Hae-in said. She pointed at a map on the wall. On the map, she had put red circles. Each red circle showed where someone had disappeared. "Do you see the pattern?" Jiwoo looked at the map carefully. She did not see a clear pattern at first. The disappearances had happened in many different places. The first person disappeared near the forest. The second person disappeared near the supply buildings. The third person disappeared near the laboratory. The places were not close to each other. The times were not the same. But then she saw something. She saw that all the missing people had been alone. She saw that all of them had disappeared when no one was watching. "Someone is taking them," Jiwoo said. "Someone is watching the station. Someone is waiting for people to be alone. Someone is taking them when no one sees." "Yes," Hae-in said, "and that someone is very smart. Whoever it is, they know how to hide. They know how to move without being seen. They know how to choose their victims carefully." "But who?" Jiwoo asked. "Who would do this? Who could do this?" Hae-in did not answer right away. She was thinking. She was looking at all the information they had. She was trying to find clues. Then she remembered something. She remembered an old report from before the colony was started. The report was about dangers in space. The report mentioned creatures that hunted other creatures. "We need to check the sensor logs," Hae-in said. "We need to see if there is anything unusual in the sky." She and Jiwoo went to the sensor room. The sensor room was full of machines and computers. Men and women sat at desks and watched screens. The screens showed information about the sky around the station. They showed information about the land around the station. Hae-in asked the workers to show her the sensor logs from the past 3 weeks. The workers looked confused. They did not know why the commander wanted to see old information, but they showed the information anyway. Hae-in looked at the logs carefully. She watched the screens. She saw many normal things. She saw clouds. She saw birds flying. She saw animals moving on the land. But then she saw something strange. She saw something that did not have a name in their database. She saw energy signatures that should not be there. She saw patterns that she did not understand. "There is something," Hae-in said quietly. "Something is in our sky. Something that our machines can barely see. Something that is hiding." Jiwoo felt her heart beat faster. "What is it?" she asked. "I do not know," Hae-in said, "but it is there, and I think it is taking our people." That night, Jiwoo sent a message to all the people in the station. She told them to stay inside their homes. She told them to not go anywhere alone. She told them to be careful. She told them to report anything strange that they saw. But she did not tell them about the thing in the sky. She did not tell them about the energy signatures. She did not tell them what she really believed. In another part of the station, in a quiet room, Young-soo was reading. He was reading old reports on his computer, reports from before the colony came to this world, reports about space and the creatures that lived in space. He was reading about the Vorgaths. And as he read, he understood something. He understood what was happening. He understood why people were disappearing. And he understood that he was going to have to do something about it. He understood that he was going to have to use the training that he had never told anyone about. He understood that soon, very soon, everything was going to change. Young-soo sat in his small home and read the old reports until late at night. His eyes moved quickly across the computer screen. He was learning about the Vorgaths. He was learning how they hunted. He was learning how they killed their prey. The reports were very old. They were from governments on Earth. They were from organizations that studied creatures from space. These reports had been sent to the space station many years ago, but most people did not know about them. Most people had never read them. Young Su had found them by accident. Or maybe it was not an accident. Maybe his training had taught him where to look for information like this. According to the reports, Vorgaths were perfect hunters. Their bodies were very strong. Their eyes could see things that human eyes could not see. Their minds could think very fast. They had studied many planets. They had hunted on many worlds, and they had never failed to catch their prey. The reports said that if a Vorgath came to a planet, the people on that planet should try to escape. The reports said that fighting a Vorgath was almost impossible. The reports said that hiding was the only hope, but the reports also said something else. The reports said that Vorgaths made a mistake sometimes. The mistake was that they thought all creatures were weak. The mistake was that they thought all prey was the same. The mistake was that they did not always understand intelligence. They did not always understand that some prey could fight back in ways they did not expect. Young Su closed his computer. He sat in the darkness of his home. His mind was working. His mind was thinking about what he could do. He had training. He had knowledge. He had been taught how to survive. He had been taught how to fight creatures that were stronger than humans. He had been taught how to think like a hunter. But he had never told anyone about this training. He had come to this space station to have a normal life. He had come here to work with plants and machines. He had come here to forget about the darkness of his past. But now the darkness had come to him. Now he had to make a choice. That night, young Su did not sleep. He walked through the station. He watched the security cameras. He studied the places where people had disappeared. He was looking for patterns. He was looking for clues. He was looking for information that the security team might have missed. He walked past the forest where Taio had disappeared. He walked past the supply buildings where Mi-sun had disappeared. He walked past the laboratory where Ho-jun had disappeared. As he walked, he began to understand something. He began to understand where the Vorgath would strike next. The next morning, Young Su went to find Hei-in. He found her in the security office. Hei-in was looking at maps and reports. She looked very tired. She had been working all night, trying to find answers. When she saw Young Su, she was surprised. She did not know him very well. She only knew him as a worker in the agricultural buildings. "I need to talk to you about something," Young Su said. His voice was calm and clear. "I think I know what is happening." Hei-in looked at him with questions in her eyes. "What do you mean?" she asked. "The people who disappeared," Young Su said. "I have studied the patterns. I think I know why they disappeared. I think I know what took them." "How do you know this?" Hei-in asked. "You are a worker in agriculture. You are not a scientist. You are not a security person." Young Su was quiet for a moment. He was trying to decide how much to tell her. He was trying to decide how much truth he could share. Then he made his decision. "I used to work for a government organization on Earth," Young Su said. "It was a secret organization. My job was to study creatures from space. My job was to prepare for the possibility of dangerous encounters. I have studied reports about Vorgaths. I believe that is what has come to this station." Hei-in's eyes became wider. She sat back in her chair. She was surprised by what he had said. But she also believed him. She believed him because she could see that he was telling the truth. She could see that he had knowledge that other people did not have. "What is a Vorgath?" she asked. "A hunter," Young Su said simply. "The perfect hunter. It comes to planets to hunt intelligent creatures. It has been taking our people for 3 weeks. It will take more people if we do not stop it." "Can we stop it?" Hei-in asked. "Maybe," Young Su said. "But we will need to be very smart. We will need to understand how it thinks. We will need to prepare a trap. We will need to understand that we are not fighting a simple animal. We are fighting something that thinks as fast as we do, maybe faster. Hei-In called for Ji-Woo to come to the security office. When Ji-Woo arrived, Young-Soo explained everything again. He told them about the Vorgaths. He told them about the reports he had read. He told them about his training. He told them about what he believed was happening. Ji-Woo and Hei-In listened carefully. "What do we do?" Ji-Woo asked. "First, we need to find where the Vorgath is hiding," Young-Soo said. "It will not be in the station. It will be in the sky. It will be hiding in the clouds or above the atmosphere. Second, we need to prepare a plan to protect our people. Third, we need to make ourselves look like prey that will attract the Vorgath. We need to make the Vorgath come to us. But we need to be ready when it comes." "That is very dangerous," Hei-In said. "Yes," Young-Soo agreed. "It is very dangerous. But if we do nothing, more people will disappear. If we do nothing, the Vorgath will take many more humans. And there is nothing we can do to stop it. But if we act now, if we prepare now, we might have a chance." Ji-Woo and Hei-In looked at each other. They understood that Young-Soo was right. They understood that they had to do something. They understood that the station was in danger. And they understood that this young worker from agriculture might be the only person who could help them. "Tell us what we need to do," Ji-Woo said, and Young-Soo began to explain his plan. Young-Soo spent all day preparing for the trap. He worked with Hei-In and several soldiers from the station. They gathered materials. They built machines. They tested equipment. Young-Soo knew exactly what they needed to do. He had studied the Vorgath reports. He understood how these creatures hunted. He understood what they feared. He understood what would make them stop attacking. First, Young-Soo explained what the Vorgath would do. "The Vorgath hunts creatures that are weaker than itself," he said to the group. "When it hunts, it looks for prey that is alone. It looks for prey that has no protection. It attacks fast and hard. It does not expect its prey to fight back. It does not expect its prey to be prepared. If we can show the Vorgath that this station is dangerous, that our people are not weak prey, it might leave us alone. Hunters do not hunt in places where hunting is difficult. They hunt in places where hunting is easy." The soldiers listened to Young-Soo carefully. They trusted him. They could see that he knew what he was talking about. They could see that he had studied this enemy carefully. Young-Soo showed them how to build thermal sensors. These sensors could detect the heat that the Vorgath made. The Vorgath was a living creature. All living creatures made heat. The sensors would be hidden around the observation platform. When the Vorgath came close, the sensors would know. The sensors would send a signal to Young-Soo. Young-Soo also showed them how to build a special device. This device used materials from the station. It used materials from the power systems and the communication systems. When activated, this device would create a pattern of energy. This pattern would look like a military defense system. This pattern would look like a trap. Young-Soo had read that Vorgaths could see energy patterns. If they saw a pattern that looked like a military defense system, they would become careful. They would begin to wonder if this place was really weak. The soldiers asked Young-Soo many questions. "What if the Vorgath is not fooled?" asked a soldier named Min-Seo. "What if it attacks anyway?" "Then we will fight," Young-Soo said calmly. "I have a weapon that can hurt a Vorgath. I have a thermal detonator that has been modified. I have also created something else. I have created a device that uses sound waves. Vorgaths use sound to communicate with each other. If I use the right frequencies, I can confuse the Vorgath. I can make it think that other Vorgaths are nearby. A Vorgath will not hunt if it thinks another Vorgath is in the area. Vorgaths are competitive. They do not like to share their prey." As the sun began to set, everything was ready. The sensors were in place. The energy pattern device was ready to activate. Young-Soo had his thermal detonator. He had his sound wave device. He had a backup plan. Everything was prepared. That night, There was an announcement in the station. Jiwoo made an announcement on all communication systems. She said that all people must stay inside their homes. She said that there was danger in the station. She said that there would be tests of the emergency systems. She said that some people might see strange lights and hear strange sounds. She said that this was normal. She said that everyone should not worry. People did not understand what was happening, but they did what they were told. Then Young-soo went to the observation platform. This was a high place where people could look out at the land and the sky. This was a place where people could see very far. Young-soo stood alone on this platform. He held the thermal detonator in his hand. He had other devices around him on the platform. These devices would create the energy pattern. These devices would create the impression of a military defense system. The night was very dark. The clouds were thick in the sky. But Young-soo could feel something. He could feel that the Vorgath was coming. His training had given him something more than knowledge. It had given him an instinct. It had taught him to sense danger. And right now, he could sense danger very clearly. Above the clouds, Krell was preparing to hunt. Krell had been waiting for this moment. For 3 weeks, he had hunted slowly. He had taken one human at a time. But now he wanted something different. Now he wanted to come down and take many humans at once. He was tired of waiting. He was ready to attack the entire station. But as Krell came lower through the clouds, his sensors detected something. His 6 eyes began to glow. His sensors detected energy patterns below. These patterns looked wrong. These patterns looked dangerous. Krell's ancient instincts, the instincts that had kept him alive for hundreds of years, suddenly became active. Something was not right about this place. Something felt like a trap. Krell scanned the observation platform more carefully. He saw a human standing there. But this human was different from the other humans. This human was not moving like prey. This human was not acting like prey. This human was standing very still. This human had something in his hand. This human had other devices around him. Krell's mind made calculations. His calculations told him something very important. His calculations told him that this human was a hunter. Krell had never seen a human hunter before. All the humans he had ever hunted were prey. But this human was different. This human was standing on the platform like a hunter stands. This human was waiting like a hunter waits. For the first time in hundreds of years, Krell felt something that was almost like fear. Not fear of the human. Vorgaths did not fear weak creatures. But Krell felt something like doubt. Krell felt something like uncertainty. Krell's perfect hunting instinct told him that this situation was not right. This situation was not a normal hunt. This situation might be dangerous. Krell looked at the human one more time. The human was holding the thermal detonator. The human's face was calm and serious. The human's eyes were looking up at the sky. The human's eyes were looking right at where Krell was hidden in the clouds. The human was not afraid. The human was waiting. Krell made a decision. Krell did something that no Vorgath had ever done before in the history of Vorgath hunting. Krell decided that this hunt was not worth the danger. Krell decided to leave. Krell decided to go somewhere else. Krell decided that this planet was not safe for hunting anymore. The ship began to move upward through the atmosphere. Young-soo watched it go. He had done it. He had made the Vorgath leave. He had turned the hunter into the hunted. He had made the predator understand that it was the one in danger. Many months had passed since Krell and his ship left Kepler 442b. The people of New Sol Station had returned to their normal lives. They went to work. They grew food. They studied the planet. They built new buildings. But everything had changed. Everything was different now, and the station would never be the same again. Young-soo stood in the agricultural building where he worked. He was cleaning machines and preparing plants for growth, just like he had done before. But now, when he worked, he was also watching. He was also listening. He was also waiting. His hidden training had become a permanent part of his life. He could not go back to being a normal worker. He would always be a guardian now. He would always be a protector. Even if no one knew it, he was protecting everyone in the station. Minna was an environmental technician at the station. She had started working with Young-Soo after the danger had passed. Minna had been the person who noticed strange changes in the geological activity around the station. She had been smart and careful. Now she worked with Young-Soo to build a permanent detection system. This system could sense if anything dangerous was coming near the station. This system could warn the people if any threats approached from the sky. "Do you think it will come back?" Min-Ah asked Young-Soo one day. They were working on sensors that would scan the sky. "Maybe," Young-Soo said. "Vorgaths are hunters. Hunters always return to places where they have hunted before. But it will not return here. Not as long as I am watching." Minna looked at Young-Soo. She wanted to understand him better. She wanted to know why he had such knowledge. She wanted to know why he cared so much about protecting the station. But Young-Soo did not talk about these things. He simply did his work. He simply continued to watch and wait. Hae-In had become the head of security for the station. She had worked with Young-Soo to make the station stronger and safer. Together, they had created new defense systems. Together, they had trained soldiers. Together, they had prepared for any future attacks. The station now had weapons that could hurt creatures from space. The station now had sensors that could detect danger from very far away. The station was ready for almost anything. One day, Hae-In asked Young-Soo if he would like to work officially for the security department. She offered him a job as a teacher. She wanted him to teach other soldiers about creatures from space. She wanted him to teach them how to defend themselves against powerful enemies. But Young-Soo said no. He said that he wanted to continue his work in agriculture. He said that he wanted to keep his normal life. "But you can help us more if you work for security," Hae-In said. "I am helping," Young-Soo replied. "I am helping by being here. I am helping by watching. I am helping by being ready if the danger comes back. Sometimes, the best way to help is to be silent and invisible." Commander Ji-Woo also wanted to know more about Young-Soo. She wanted to understand where his training came from. She wanted to know more about the organization that had sent him to the station. But Young-Soo did not give her answers. He said that the organization was secret. He said that its records were confidential. He said that he had been sent to the station to live a normal life, and that nothing more needed to be said. Still, Ji-Woo understood that Young-Soo had saved the station. She understood that without him, more people would have disappeared. She understood that Krell might have destroyed the entire colony, so she protected Young-Soo's secret. She did not tell anyone about his real identity. She did not tell anyone about his special training. She let him continue his work in agriculture, and she knew that he was doing something much more important. The families of the missing people grieved for their loved ones. 7 people had been taken by the Vorgath. 7 people would never return home. The station built a memorial for them. The memorial had 7 stones with 7 names: Tae-Oh, Mi-sun, Ho-jun, Soo-jin, Do-yeon, Ji-ae, and Min-jun. People would come to this memorial and remember these 7 people. They would remember them with sadness and love. But the people of the station did not know that it could have been much worse. They did not know that Krell could have killed many more. They did not know that Young-Soo had saved them all. Young-Soo had never told them. He had never bragged about what he had done. He had simply done what needed to be done. And then he had returned to his normal life. One night, months after Krell had left, Young-Soo returned to the observation platform. He stood there alone like he had stood there that night when he had faced the Vorgath. The sky was clear and beautiful. The stars shone brightly above him. The air was cool and fresh. Young-Soo thought about his life. He thought about his past. He thought about the years he had spent working for the secret organization. He thought about the many dangers he had faced. He thought about why he had come to this space station. He had come here to escape from danger. He had come here to have a normal life. But danger had followed him. Danger had come to this world, and he had not been able to run from it. But now, young Su understood something. He understood that running had not helped. He understood that trying to be someone else had not worked. He understood that his true purpose was to protect others. His true purpose was to be a guardian. His true purpose was to stand between the innocent and the darkness. Young Su was at peace with this understanding. He was at peace with his role as a guardian. He was at peace with keeping his secret. He was at peace with the knowledge that he had saved hundreds of lives. In the data records of the Vorgaths, on their home world far away in space, the encounter with young Su would be remembered. It would be recorded that Krell had come to Kepler 442b. It would be recorded that Krell had hunted on this world. But it would also be recorded that Krell had retreated. It would be recorded that the human species had shown unexpected strength. It would be recorded that the prey had become the hunter, and this record would be passed from Vorgath to Vorgath. This record would warn other hunters. This record would teach them that humans were not simple prey. This record would change how Vorgaths thought about Earth and its colonies. Young Su did not know this. He did not know that his actions had saved not only New Sol Station, but possibly many other human colonies in space. He simply did his work. He simply watched and waited. He simply lived his life as a quiet guardian, protecting those who did not know they were being protected. And as the stars shone above him, young Su understood that this was enough. This was more than enough. To save lives without asking for thanks, to protect people without asking for recognition, to be a hero that no one saw and no one knew about. This was the highest purpose. This was the greatest honor. And young Su was grateful to have this role, to have this purpose, to have this calling. He would stand on this platform again and again. He would watch the skies again and again. He would be ready again and again, for this was what he was meant to do. This was what he would always do.